Morning. It's June 16th. Doing a little video this morning on how you can make you some free tomato plants if you're already growing tomato plants. These are Brandywine pink variety that I'm growing in containers, and I buried the pot in the ground. And you can see we're getting some tomatoes on here, but I've stripped out the bottoms of these plants so the tomatoes would form up near the top and quit hanging down in the dirt. And if you'll look, let's see if I can find one. I've stripped most of them out. If you'll look right there, that's a sucker between the main stem and the leaf. That right there was a sucker, and it's producing tomatoes. Well, if you'll wait till these, let's see if I can find you another one. I've stripped all of these out. Here's one forming. Right there. That's a sucker. And if I do this at the bottom of my plants because I like the airflow to get underneath the plants, and I don't like the leaves of my plants touching the ground. That helps with your disease on a tomato plant. You can see I've stripped them out. Actually, there's a little sucker coming out right there. But if you'll strip out your tomato plants and wait till those suckers get up a pretty good size, then stick them. These are all suckers that I pulled and I stuck in a jar of water. And you can see even with blooms on these things, which I should have pinched the blooms off, they root. But this will only work if you put this jar of suckers off of your original tomato plants in the shade. You can't pull these suckers off and stick them in a jar of water and put them in direct sunlight. I just have them sitting here now to make this video, but you can see how nice these plants root just sitting in a jar of water. Now, there's probably 4 or 5, and you can see the bumps forming on the side of the plant. And once it starts forming those bumps, then a root will appear out of there. I'm probably going to give these another week in the jar, then I'm going to plant them. And it didn't cost me anything. I started these Brandywine tomatoes from seed, and if I were to buy them at the store, they're $4.98 a plant. So after taxes, you're over $5 a plant. But you can see, if you get you one plant, pinch off your suckers down near the bottom to let the airflow get through your plants, and then stick them in a jar of water, and take that jar of water and stick it in the shade somewhere out of direct sunlight. These get no direct sunlight. I set them in between my shrub bushes in the front of my house, and these have been in the jar 2 weeks, and you can see how nice and rooted they are. They're ready to plant. Well, the one with the most roots, I like to get at least that many roots on them before I plant them. And then if we get an extra tomato or 2 off of these plants, well, that's good, and then I'll give my neighbors some. But you can do any variety. All your tomato plants have suckers. I've chosen to strip out the bottom of these plants and take my suckers and put into a jar of water. And there you go. That's how easy it is to start your own tomato plants, free tomato plants, from your existing tomato plants. Thanks for watching.